After dropping the Bleach mod video for Sparking Zero, I noticed a crazy thing in the community. These people didn't like Rebirth the Souls. And not just, oh, we don't like that game, whatever, we played it. No, I mean like just people straight don't like that game. So I'm gonna be doing a response to this idea, kind of breaking it down. How do I feel and what type of game we should have got? Well, yo, let's hop into the video. People expressed not liking Rebirth the Souls. They wanted a game that played more like Sparking Zero, rather a faster paced game, more casually. Bleach back in 2024 was announced during Anime Expo, and when the first look of the game got dropped, many people were left puzzled. People had to solve equations just to explain the battle system. I remember people like Globku were kind of like confused of what was going on at the time, and other people just used it as a talking piece to shit on a Bleach game. Now the game had a slower pace and strategic form of fighting, and this is what the defenders utilize. Oh, well, it takes more skill. It's like an Axis fighter. It's like a Soul Calibur. And at that point, I'm just like, why are we doing this, man? The only people that should be hyped about this is the Bleach fans. And I said this, I was like, the only people that should be hyped is the Bleach fans. If this game does great, we definitely gonna get more Bleach games, which I want more Bleach games. I don't want to have to wait another 5-10 years or play another mobile game. I'm looking at you, Soul Resonance. I think casuals wanted a game that was more casual. And when I say casuals, I'm talking about the people who are fans of Bleach and or people who don't play fighting games because they like sweating and they like competition. I mean, the people who, I like Bleach. Oh, there's a game? Oh, awesome. Not the, I like Bleach. I want a Bleach fighting game because I like fighting games and fighting games are my way of life. And I think if, yeah, we didn't need those people. We needed more people that were casually into the thing, because unfortunately, in order to be successful at something, you need more casuals into it, or you need a cult following. Bleach Rebirth the Souls was the first anime game for Bleach on console since the 2011 game. Ain't no way in hell you wouldn't have just went with the most safest option that was guaranteed more people to get into it. Nope, instead Bandai decided to make a fighting game. A fighting game that had these very peculiar rules and things that you had to do. Something that was just, oh, it's simple, but they kind of like said, fuck the casuals. It didn't make any sense to me. Had Bleach Rebirth the Souls had a faster pace of gameplay, way more combos, played more along the lines of BT3, it would have been a completely different game and people would have been hyping it up. Guarantee if it played more like BT3, so many people in the anime gaming space would have been much more hyped for Bleach. And that's not saying this is a bad game. I'm saying that casuals just are not jumping off the fence to go play Bleach Rebirth the Souls. I thought this format Spike developed for BT3 was well. Like, we see people all the time throughout there saying, yo, we need more games with the Storm format. Well, we got the Demon Slayer game, which basically evolved the Storm format and did their own thing. Heck, we even have Shinobi, we have Storm Connections that came out that kept going with that shit. Sparking Zero is the first time in a while that we've seen the sparking format reused. Now, we could go to the various Spike Chunsoft games and point out the vast similarities in the game philosophy, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to simply the sparking format. I figure, you know, Bandai, Spike Chunsoft would use that format for another fighting game, like a massive anime fighter. I think people's attention spans are also fried. Newer Dragon Ball games like Sparking have made things easier both mechanically and allows people to see very cool attacks and pull off mechanics. I think Bleach fans would have played Rebirth much more if it was like this. Now you might be saying, but Makai, how the fuck do you know that? Bleach is one of the big three. It's a super popular manga. Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach are some of the most well-known animes in America. At the time that Bleach was airing, you cannot sit there and say it wasn't. Despite Bleach having its first game announcement, there was more buzz around Bleach Rebirth the Souls than there was My Hero All's Justice. Just from a content creator standpoint and from just looking at how the community is, more people were talking about Bleach Rebirth of Souls, shit was happening all the time. My Hero's been quiet. Even when like shit comes out, it's just no one cares. And maybe that's because people are fed up with how anime games are, or because there's not really a lot of hype to the game. It's the third My Hero console game of this caliber, and there's not a lot of people talking. They improved on certain things and it's just been zip silence. So I said all that to basically say that I know more people would have been into this Bleach game if it was easier to get into, easier to experience the story, versus having to play like a long cutscene and that's just the first mission. Like, what, yo? While I haven't played too much in Rebirth of Souls these days just due to being busy and shit, if I want to boot up a Bleach game, I'm booting up Soul Resurrection. I still have the game on physical media. I have a PS3. I got a PS3 because I wanted to play that particular game. One, because I want to platinum the game and it just takes an insane long time. But two, I actually enjoyed the game. I personally think that if we would have got a single player Bleach game that re-experienced the story of Bleach in a very easy to get into and a fun fighting system, nothing too complex, nothing too simple, I think more people would have been about it. But instead, Bandai wanted to give us a fighting game and make it very complicated to get into Bleach, and it just doesn't make sense. If this was the first game in a while, then they should have took the most safe route. They took a risk, but the safe route would have been like either a single player experience and had fire ass cutscenes, had cool ass boss. Like, honestly, a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot but Bleach should have been the first attempt before a fighting game. Then use that to gauge the interest of the Bleach IP, and then the fighting game also having the confidence, then make a more casual fighting game. And for that fighting game, it should have been more like Sparking Zero / Storm, and the games should have had 50 plus characters, not no 30 plus characters and barely skip out on characters. Like, no Orihime, guys, no Orihime. Just think about that. And for some of these, make the Bankai play differently, thus count as a different character. Do the Budokai Tenkaichi method, man. And then give them a bunch of different abilities, not that 1-2 garbage ass shit that we saw. Various stages, and the biggest thing of all, please capitalize on the current events of the anime. Heck, for all we know, we might go into the novel after Thousand Year Blood War ends. In terms of just the casuals, you want more people, both anime gaming casuals and Bleach casuals, to get into this. Now, am I saying that fighting game people shouldn't get a game that's fire? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you already got games like City of the Wolves that they just didn't play. Oh, but the fighting game has all these mechanics. It doesn't matter, man. Like, if they're not fucking with a game, they're not fucking with a game. And trying to attract FGC people when ... I just don't think that makes sense. I think it makes more sense to try to attract people that are anime gaming fans, particularly Bleach fans, to getting to this game more, and thus those other communities come. If you try to hit everybody, you hit no one. Basically, if you try to reach everybody, you reach no one. It's the same philosophy with YouTube. It's the same thing with business. They need to think about who is the core customer. Core customer should be people who like Bleach, and if that is the case, make a game for them. Don't do this humbo jumbo Gish Gallop shit and try to claim that, oh, you're making a game like this because XYZ. It's like, no, y'all just made something so complicated and found ways to justify why it plays like that. I say all that to say, hey, look, if this next Bleach game that comes out, Mirror's High or whatever, is fire, then hey, that's awesome. But we seriously need something that's casual and fun for a lot of people, because if not, I don't think we'll see another Bleach console game.